Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Derek Cisna on the line. He's Director of Business Development over at Boardwalk Recovery Center. Derek, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So excited to have you on the show today, man. Important topic, important work you're doing over at Boardwalk Recovery Center. So let's just jump right in. So tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing.
Sure. So we're an all-men's aftercare program for substance abuse and mental health. We're located in Pacific Beach, San Diego. And a lot of what we do is we're an aftercare setting. So we focus more on the partial hospitalization, PHP level of care, and also intensive outpatient. So we have sober livings attached with our facility that we have contracts with. So a lot of the guys, they come to our facility specifically for life skills and making sure that they get integrated back into society with a strong clinical care and strong clinical focus. So generally guys stay with us anywhere between 30 days all the way up to a year in our sober livings. And it's really a good source of them getting back on their feet, becoming self-sufficient, and kind of getting them away from whatever they need to in order to recreate their lives.
Let's talk a little bit more about the problem, because I don't think that this gets enough press, if you will. I think there's an underlying kind of thing in society that says to use or to seek out help like this is a bad thing. It shows weakness, or that it's not, like something is wrong. I mean, let's talk a little bit more about the problem and why these are great alternatives.
Sure. Well, yeah, the problem is, a lot of people, whether it's me or whether it's any family member, friends, someone is always affected by substance abuse. And a lot of people take substance abuse, and I think a lot of the negative connotations that come with substance abuse, and a lot of people, including my family with my own personal issues, they say, well, why don't you just stop? And it's not that easy. And a lot of a majority, very high percentage of the people that are struggling with substance abuse also have underlying or co-occurring disorders. And what I mean by that is any kind of mental health issues, whether it's bipolar, depression, anxiety, trauma. Trauma is a huge one, especially in the substance abuse industry, that needs to get addressed. So a lot of the problem is it's not just the drug addiction. The drug addiction is just a symptom of the problem. So that's the way that we know as alcoholics and drug addicts know how to cope with our issues that have never been addressed, all the way up through our lives. So whether that comes from trauma from childhood or bipolar or anything like that, not taking medication properly, whatever the case is, it's going to result in drug addiction and drug issues. So not only are you batting the drug addiction itself or the alcoholism, whatever the case may be, the important thing about treatment and what we try to do, especially with our clinical care, is make sure that we're addressing those underlying issues. So, the clients and the guys have a healthy coping mechanism for if these issues do arise or they do pop up. One, they're doing it in a safe environment, and at the same time, we want to make sure they're integrating back into society by holding down jobs. What are they going to do with their first paycheck? Getting them self-sufficient and kind of building their self-esteem. A lot of the guys that we have, the demographic that we operate in is anywhere between 18 and 35-year-olds. We do get older guys that are coming into our program, but that's our main demographic. A lot of these guys have never had real jobs before in their entire life. They don't know how to do a resume. They don't know how to finance their money. They don't know what kind of goals they need to set in order to keep their life on track. So that's kind of like the big basis that we have over at Boardwalk, making sure that we are, taking care of those needs and those individuals that have never done those things before.
Let's talk a little bit more about the safe environment and what that means in terms of a process, because there might be some people listening to this right now that are thinking, they maybe have a problem or that needs to be addressed, and they might be scared, frankly. They've never gone down that route. They don't know what it's like. They don't really know. You know what I mean? Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they think of treatment, they think of, a padded room with walls, white walls.
Yeah, I mean, movies, right? That's what you think of, movies,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And there's certain levels of care, obviously, but that's not what it is by any means. We try to make this as comfortable as possible, and anyone going into treatment should be scared, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be addressed and talked about that they probably haven't talked about or addressed in years. So it is a scary thing. And especially a lot of people don't like to have the label of addict or alcoholic or want to deal with their issues at all. They just want to suppress them as much as possible. So what we try to do at certain facilities and facilities all over the country, we try to make it as comfortable as possible. And just like going into anything new, the first few days are super uncomfortable. You know, you don't want to be there. You find reasons as to why you're different than all the other people that are there. You know, you always look for the differences in the people and the programming. And that's just realistically, that's alcoholism talking to you and getting you out of your own way to making you want to leave the things necessary to do to get sober. So it is scary. It is very scary. I'm more worried about people that want to go to treatment that aren't scared than I am the ones that are scared, because it is a scary thing. However, treatment facilities, you know, they're not like what they show in TV shows or movies or anything like that, where, you know, you're locked up in a room and people are, you know, drooling all over themselves and talking to themselves. It's more of what you find there is a bond and a fellowship of people going through the same things that you're going through, and you finally have people that you can relate to and talk to you about the issues that you've been having throughout your life or what you're going through now. You know, you get people in there with families, jobs, high executive level clients from, you know, Fortune 500 companies all the way down to, you know, the homeless heroin addict living under a bridge. And the cool thing that we see at our facility a lot of the time is both those people, despite their differences as far as where they're at in life, they come together and they're making phone calls to each other. They're going to meetings together. They're really kind of bonding over the simple fact that they have the same issues, maybe not the same story, but the same issues. And they can finally have people to relate to that. And I think a lot of the people that come into treatment, what they look for is they've never had that support of, hey, I feel like this, or I felt like this before in the past, or, you know, my depression or suicidal ideations or whatever the case is. They finally get to a place where all those people are going through the same issues, and they finally feel that love and connect and support that they might have been missing their whole lives.
Man, that's awesome. So, Derek, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Boardwalk Recovery Center, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out and to learn more?
Yeah, best way to reach out, we have our website. It's www.boardwalkrecoverycenter.com. If you want to get a hold of me directly, I don't mind handing out my cell phone number or LinkedIn or whatever the case may be. My email address is D as in dog, C as in cat at boardwalkrecoverycenter.com. And even those are listening, I answer calls and take calls in all the time, 24/7. Obviously, you know, people that are struggling, it doesn't stop throughout the day. So I'm even willing to give out my cell phone number, and it's 949-480-7126. And you can get a hold of me directly. So I'm offering myself to anybody out there who's struggling or needs help, and so is our recovery center. So if anybody's struggling, please give us a call.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Derek, really appreciate you coming on the show today and shedding some light on what you do and also all the great work you're doing over at Boardwalk Recovery Center to help, you know, families and humans and people that are struggling or maybe going through some things. So really appreciate your work. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there. And I'd love to hear some comments in the comment section and see what kind of things you're working on. And Derek, thanks again for coming on the show.